Hi, welcome to Vicky Signature. If this is the first time you have seen this channel, thanks for stopping by. And to my returning subscribers, thanks for always sticking to this channel. So today's tutorial, I'll be looking at how to cut and sew a freehand trouser or a pant. So if this is what you're really interested in, please stay tuned as you're about to start. So I made use of 3 yards for this 2-piece. So we'll be starting with the pant. Actually, I didn't really make tutorial for the shirt, but if you want, I can do that. So firstly, we'll go ahead to fold our fabric into 2. So this is freehand. We are not going to be using pattern, but if you want to learn with pattern, I have a tutorial on that, so you can check my channel. So what I'm trying to do is I want to fold my fabric into 2. Then for us to fold it, you divide your hip by 4 and then add like 5 or more extra inches. So that is what I just did. So now we are going to be starting properly. So we're rolling a margin upward, like we're using like 1 inch for the margin, so that part is going to serve as our starting point. So firstly, that side now is going to be our waistline. So from that part, we are going to measure the length of the pants, which is 40 inches. So we'll be using 2 inches band. So this is the way I'll be measuring it. You see the way that I shifted the tape upward, so that is how I'll measure it. So from there, I'll mark my 40 inches and then add 2 extra inches for folding. Sorry, that part is not showing, but I believe you understand what I'm trying to say. So I take the tape upward and then start it from that 2 inches, so that when we add the band, it can replace what we just took out. So after that, I'll just use my straight rule to connect the lines together at the down part, which is the length of the pants properly. So next thing now is for us to put our hip measurement. So from the waist to hip, I'm working with is 10 inches because it says high waist and free pants. So I'll be making use of 10 inches. So I'll remove that 2 inches upward and then I'll mark my 10 inches. I'll mark it on the both sides, just as you can see. Then I'll use my ruler to connect the line with a straight connect what I marked with a straight line, just as you can see. So this is a freehand and it's very simple to understand. So after that, we'll go ahead to put our crotch measurement. So for you to do your crotch, you divide your hip by 3 and then remove 1.5 inches. Yes, you divide your hip by 3 and then remove 1.5 inches. So when I was done doing that, I think I have around 12 or 13, something like that. So that is what I just marked. So I'll be marking it on the both sides, just as you can see. So after marking it, I'll take the straight rule and connect them together. So now we'll be putting our hip measurement on both the crotch line and the hip line properly, so I can connect them together. So since this is a free kind of pant, I'll add 2 inches of ease. So this is the 2 inches that I am adding. I'll add it both on the hip and then on the crotch line. I believe you understand. So any measurement I have there, I'll measure it and then take it to the upper part. What I have there is 12 inches, so I'll take it to the waistline. So I'll mark that same 12 inches, then I'll connect them together, just like connecting from the crotch to the hip and then down to the waist of the pants. I believe you understand down to this part. So then after doing that, we'll just go ahead to roll it together, just as you can see. So on the crotch line, we'll put our crotch extension. So for the front, you're going to be dividing your hip by 20 inches. So when I did mine, I have 2 inches, which is 40 divided by 20. I have 2 inches, which is going to be the crotch extension for the front. After marking my 20 inches, I'll just go ahead to pick my curve and then use it to form a curve there, just as you can see. I'll form a curve, a very nice curve from the crotch extension to meet the hip line there, just as you can see. So after doing that, this is what we have. So next thing, we'll be putting our waist measurement. So on the waist, my waist I'm working with is 7.5 inches, which is 30 inches. So I'll go ahead to mark that. Firstly, after marking that, I'll go ahead to add the 2 inches we'll be adding for ease, since it is going to be free. So add the 2 inches. So after adding the 2 inches, you discover that 2 plus that 7.5 is not equal to our hip, so we'll have to add another extra inches, like 1 inches or 1.5. So the total of making the total of 3 extra inches for the waistline. Then from there, we'll just connect to meet the hip line, and that is all for the upper part. So next we'll go to the down of the pants and just remove like 1.5 from the side and then connect it in this slanty way. In that part your trouser is going to be very straight, but when you connect it just straight like that, it's going to be shifting to the back. But when you do it slantly and remove some inches from the down part, it's going to be very straight. So after doing that, that is all what you have. I'll add ½ inch on the upper part, then I'll go ahead to cut out the pattern. So that is all for the front. I believe we all understand very well. Now let's move to the back. I've cut it out, so we'll be placing it on a new on a new fabric here. So after placing it, now we can do our back calculation. So for the back, the crotch extension is going to be hip divided by 10, front is hip divided by 20. So when I did that, I have 4 inches. So I'll be marking the 4 inches just like so. I believe you see the way I marked the 4 inches there. So I was supposed to draft the back separately, but then I'm just making use of the front so that we will not draw much line. So on the center front, we just go in by 1.5 inches, then we'll go up very well. So from that, our crotch line will go in by 1 inches. Yes, we'll go in by 1 inches. So it is from that part we are going to be putting our crotch extension. I believe you understand me very well. So we just connect the line slantly, just as you can see. Now the back is not straight, so that is why we are going in by 1.5 inches for the back. So next thing we'll be doing is, let's place our front again. So now we'll be marking our crotch extension for the back properly, which is the 4 inches we added starting from our crotch line. So now next thing we'll be doing is we'll just go ahead to mark all the points together like this, and then roll a curve down to that our 4 inches mark, which is there. Then the other line now will just go down straight to the length of the trouser. So look at the way I'm rolling it. If you don't know how to use your free hand, you can use your curve. I call this pant a free hand trouser. That is why you see that I don't use much of those our equipment like that. So on that part will go up by 2 inches in order for it to cover the buttons properly. Then anything you have there, I'm just going to measure it there so that I can connect them together. So for you to do that, you're just going to connect it slantly to meet the same length with the front, so that when you are joining them together, the sides are equal, but the back is going to go up a bit because it's covering the buttons. So that is just a trick there. So now next thing we'll be doing is we'll be putting the waist measurement. We'll measure the waist we have for the front, then we'll put it at the back slantly like so. After that, we'll just connect to the side, making use of the 1 inches allowance we went in. Then we'll just add it to the side so that everything can be equal. So after that, we'll just connect the remaining lines down. So in order for us not to waste time, you can just use like ½ inch difference from the front line that you have, from the front pattern you have, maybe ½ or 1 inches difference. So you see that I'm using the front now as a reference, so I don't have to be join all the lines again. So that is why you see that the back is so easy. The only thing we did for the back, we increased the crotch extension, and then after that we went up by 2 inches to cover the buttons properly. I think that's the basic thing we did for the back. So next thing now is for us to cut the back out. After cutting, then we can start our sewing properly. So I believe you understand this freehand. If you don't understand, I have the pattern drafting. So guys, this is all what we have after cutting. Can you see that the up is 2 inches bigger than the front, so that the back can cover the buttons properly. So this part that I just marked, that is where we'll be sewing on. So we'll go to the sewing machine and sew it with ½ inch all around. When I'm done sewing, I'll bring it. So after sewing, this is what we have for the front. Can you see we used our ½ inch for sewing, and then for the back, this is what we have. We discovered that that part is high, right, to cover the buttons properly. So I just decided to add a little pocket. So I went in by 3 there, and then came down by 5.5 inches. So after that, I just go ahead to connect it together, just as you can see me describing. So I just use my straight rule to connect it, but before then I already cut same thing like 3 inches in and then came down by 5.5 on this piece that I'll be using for the pocket. So without wasting time, I'll just place it like so, then I can trace it using the pieces that I cut. So this one is just a basic way of cutting pocket. So if you don't know how to cut pocket properly, I also have a tutorial on it on my channel. You can search for it and then go and watch. So after that, I'll just go ahead to sew it, flip it over, top stitch, and then I think our pocket to be ready. It's not hard. So after that, this is what we have for the pockets. Then it's just one pocket that I'm trying to manage the fabric. So after that, we'll go ahead to join the front and the back pants together using lap to lap. So we'll be using one lap of the front to the another lap of the back, just as you can see me doing that. So I tried to loosen the part that we've sewn in small. So while I was sewing, I didn't top stitch, so I just joined the front and the back together like so, and then sew it down with half of an inch. When I sew this side down, I'll be sewing the other side also. Then once I'm done, I'll top stitch on the other part, then I'll bring it. So after sewing that with half of an inch, I think this is what we have, and I've also gone ahead to top stitch. So next thing we'll be working it is for us to sew the side together. So we'll be using 1 inch for us to join the side together. So once I'm done sewing the side, I'll bring it. So anything I do to the other side, I'll definitely do it to this side. So guys, after sewing the side, this is what we have. We are almost done. What is left now is for us to fold it down of the pant and then put our elastic on the waist. So next thing is for us to measure the circumference of the waist. So once I was done measuring, I have like 39 to 40 inches, right? So I'll measure same thing on the band. The band I'm using 5 inches, so that when I fold it, I'll be having 2.5. Then I'll use that half inch for sewing. So I'll mark exact same thing that I measure from the pant on the band. Then I'll cut out the excess and go ahead to sew it. So after stitching it, I'll bring it. So after sewing it out, after stitching, this is what we have. We'll just go ahead to flip it and then try to sew it to the pants. So this, look at the way I'm placing it, right? So I'll just go ahead to the sewing machine and start sewing it just like so with half of an inch all around. So once I'm done, I'll bring it. So this is what we have. Can you see? So what is left now is for us to insert our elastic. So now next thing, now we are going to be cutting our elastic. Discovered I left a little opening so we can use to pass in the elastic. So the waist I'm working with is 30. I remove like 20 to, I remove like 4 to 5 inches. So I remove 4 inches so that once I'm done using the half inch on the both side, it will be 5 inches that I remove. So my waist is 30, but I'll be making use of 26. So once I'm done, I'll have 25 there of elastic. So that is what I cut for the elastic. So next thing is for us to use our safety pin to hold the elastic firmly and then use it to pass through the channel that I created while I was sewing. The part I didn't close, so that is where we use the elastic to pass through. So after passing the elastic through that part, we'll make sure that it come out properly on the other end, on this end, just as you can see. Then once it come out, next thing for us is to go and join the elastic together, and that is all for this tutorial. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section. So this is what we have. Can you see? So we just go ahead to remove the safety pin, go to the sewing machine and then stitch it down with half of an inch. After that, I'll go ahead to fold it down of the trouser, and that is all for this tutorial. So see you in my next tutorial. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section.